I call on the convener.
Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for inviting us to present the report of the Pension Scheme Trustees to General Assembly this year. I've been asked to keep this short. Well, I guess that's always a first time for everything, but I'll do my best. Thank you. For the last 2 years, we've come here and we've talked about the funding position of the pension scheme. We've been healthy, we've got a surplus, which means we've got enough money to meet all of the promised benefits for our members. And this year, exactly the same thing again. I'm telling you that the funding is strong. We're able to meet all the promises. Where we've got powers to award discretionary benefits, as we do in the Minister's scheme, we've been able to do that again this year. The Blue Book report has got a lot of details about those numbers, and I'm sure you can read that yourself. And you certainly don't want me going over those numbers. It would certainly last much more than 10 minutes. We split our work up into small groups. We have an investment committee, we have a risk committee, and we've got the admin team in George Street who really look after us. So I wanted to say a particular thanks to the admin team who's managed by Jane McLeod, our pensions manager, and also to all the individual trustees who give their time. I was looking at the sort of day jobs of our trustees. A lot of our trustees work within the financial and pensions industry, and they give that time willingly and commitment to make sure that the pension benefits are managed properly. But we've also got a number of retired people who are no less busy, who give their time willingly to see the pension schemes managed properly. Last year, we talked about what's next for us, what's our longer-term journey. Well, we've decided that while the schemes run on, there's always that risk that the funding that we've got, strong funding position, could actually deteriorate. And then we'd have to come back and ask the church for more money. Our investment strategy is aligned to prevent that from happening. And as an example, with the turmoil we saw in the early part of this year from America, when the global markets were badly affected, our funding position didn't really vary at all. Our investments were protected. As interest rates moved, our investments moved to protect those positions. So actually, what our investment strategy does is exactly that. It protects the members, it protects the church from any volatility that's out there in the global economic markets. But we recognize that might not always be the case. So our intention was to try and take the monies that we've got and buy out the benefits, or buy in the benefits in the first instance with insurance companies who've got a lot more capital protection to protect those benefits. Once you complete a buy-in, then you think about buyouts, which are individual policies. This was all covered in the Assembly Trustees Supplemental Report, where the trustees asked that the pension scheme trustees be given indemnities for the time that those benefits are no longer part of the church's infrastructure. So I'm glad to see that that was passed today. And it means I also don't have to talk you through all the rights and wrongs of why we wanted an indemnity. So I would thank the Assembly for agreeing to provide those indemnities. In a nutshell, it's to protect trustees from a personal position, because once those benefits are bought out with an insurance company, all the money in the pension scheme is used to protect those benefits. If anything was to go wrong or a member comes out, there is no more money left in the pension scheme. Effectively, the pension scheme is no longer. We need to protect the personal liabilities of the trustees, not only today's trustees, but the trustees who've been in place over the years and who've built up the strong funding position we've got. So again, thank you for giving us those indemnities. As we move to our next stage, which is buying in or buying out the benefits with insurance companies, we're aware that the in-house team will no longer have a job, because if there's no pension scheme to administer, then we have half a dozen people in George Street who will no longer have a job. So what we would like to do, and what we're working on just now, is we're speaking to our actuaries and consultants about outsourcing the administration of our pension schemes to a company called XPS. They're based in Edinburgh, so there'll be no geographical issues in terms of travel for our colleagues in the pensions team. They will get greater job opportunities because a consultancy will allow them to develop, and take on other roles and experiences. But possibly most importantly, we won't be losing the experience over the next couple of years that we've built up over time. So if anybody comes forward with questions about the legacies or the histories of our pension schemes, those people will still be available to us. So we think that process of outsourcing the administration team to XPS is just preparing us for a better future, both for the risk to the trustees, both for the future employment of our colleagues in George Street, but also the greater security from a church's perspective. We will have in place trustee insurance. So this is again in the Assembly Trustees report. We will take out insurance protecting the pension scheme. We will take out something called run-off insurance. So the indemnities that we've asked for are really there in the event of something coming out of left field, something that's totally unexpected. So we've got that today, and we believe we're now removing all those risks from the church as to what could happen, the greater demands for us asking for more money in future years. In the meantime, we'll continue to work as we have done over the years to ensure that the members' benefits are well managed. Members' interests are always the forefront of any decisions and actions we take. And in the same way, the pensions team will remain in the short term available to answer any questions on any of our pension schemes. We've been fortunate this year with no retirements from the trustees. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the trustees for their hard work and dedication. And as I said, I've already made the point that a number of them are still working full-time, but still manage to give us the time and commitment to carry out these roles. The current healthy position of the scheme is down to the expertise and commitment, not only of this group of trustees, but to all those who put the underlying structures in place during their period of office. Whether they're here in the hall today or are watching online, thank you. My final thanks today goes to Dave Kendall on his forthcoming retirement. Dave has made our role as pension trustees and the work that we've had to do with the church so much easier. He's been a very positive influence as we've discussed and progressed the future of our pension schemes. He's always made himself available to meet with us, and he's been wholly supportive of the direction we've been trying to take the pension scheme. So Dave, I think if you're still in the hall, thank you for your retirement. Thank you and enjoy your retirement. Not thank you for your retirement. I can thoroughly recommend it. Moderator, I'm not a commissioner, so please may I ask the principal clerk to move the deliverances.
We're just about seconded, are we? Yeah, we were seconded. Okay, thank you very much, Stuart. I don't have any notice of questions. No? Okay, so we move to the deliverance. So firstly, receive the report. So approve both in the hall and online. Secondly, section 2, approving the reappointment. Approved both in the hall and online. The report as a whole. Approved both in the hall and online. Stuart, a big thank you to you and your committee. I expressed a vested interest. I will be requiring my pension in actually the not too distant future. So we thank you for the work you do and your commitment to the work of the church. We thank you. Thank you.